I was raised off-grid on an uninhabited mountain, except for my family. We were the first established homestead on that mountain ever, and first residents since the early 1900s miners left. The log home we built was located about a half a mile down from a deserted mining camp. There is still little published history recording that camp's journey up there, or who mined there. It was in operation roughly 15 years, and boasts about 9 cabins. The camp has traded hands many times since I was a child. I used to hike to it and play around the cabins. I remember in the most intact cabin there had been a notebook. I read passages from not only the current owner, but also one of the past owners recounting tales of the little blue girl. Later I had found remnants of an old children's fort, built with a 1900s handmade cabin door hung in a mistletoe fir tree for a treehouse. One night when we all came home, we cleared dirt and built a fresh home, no bones or artifacts. One fall evening, as we entered through the mudroom into the house, we all heard a strange noise. We looked at the front door going to the front porch, and the deadbolt was locking and unlocking very fast. It takes some muscle to lock and unlock a deadbolt. "It quit," I said. "Mom." She walked up to the front door, opened it, and there was nothing there. She shut the door. The deadbolt locked and unlocked and remained still. "It was just the wind," she said. And it never happened again. Years later, in my mid-20s, I was taking a family friend for a horseback ride. We walked along, enjoying the early spring day and the horses, chatting about whatever came to mind. Suddenly, about 40 yards off, we heard a little girl laugh loudly. My friend smiled and said, "Oh, you have children up here?" I shook my head and replied, "No, we don't. There isn't another soul for a few miles, no children until well after that." She seemed to turn a bit pale, then asked, "Well, what was that?" I sat quiet. I thought I knew what it was, that I had had my first encounter with the little blue girl, but not wanting to spook my friend or sound crazy, I just said, "I don't know." We continued our ride and had no issue. One more weird thing about my mountain is not very often, but out of the blue I have experienced this really awful feeling, like something evil is close. I was having a chat with an older gent who is an avid outdoorsman and overall tough guy who owns property up there, and we started talking about strange happenings up there. I asked him about the evil feeling, thinking he'd laugh at me and poke fun, but to my surprise he got dead serious. He recounted a time he was in his cabin, and in his words, he ain't scared of shit. All of a sudden he said it was like the darkness outside got even darker, and he became terrified. He said the hairs on his arms stood up, and he had half a mind to get in his truck and leave. He admitted he had never felt like that before, and was glad I'd said something because he thought maybe something was wrong with him. He mentioned it had lasted about 10, 15 minutes, but felt like an eternity. We have no clue what that is,